Hi, my name is James Broadhurst. I have a biochemistry degree from Trent University, and I'm currently a student at Ryerson University in the Occupational Health and Safety Management program. I'm also a former smoker, so today I'm going to talk to you about healthy smoking and how e-cigarettes are a new tool for the occupational health and safety professional. So why does occupational health and safety professional care about smoking cessation? Well, first of all, smoking kills. 47,000 Canadians die every year from smoking-related disease. That's approximately the same number of Canadians that died in World War II. Smoking is prevalent in industrial workplaces, which makes it of particular concern for the occupational health and safety professional. Stats show that 36% of people working in industrial settings report themselves as regular smokers compared to less than 20% in the general public. So this is particularly concerning because smoking is associated with a number of side effects in the workplace, primarily related to injuries and disease. So studies have shown that regular smoking decreases productivity among the workers. This is largely related to the poor physical condition that a lifetime of smoking leaves you in. We also know that in certain workplaces where you might be exposed to chemicals that cigarettes can actually, regular smoking can synergistically increase your risk of cancer. And another area where smoking really can cause injuries in the workplace is that regular smokers are associated with more musculoskeletal disorders, MSDs. Studies have shown that there's a 1.5 times greater likelihood of a smoker getting rotator cuff damage than a non-smoker. Regular smokers over a lifetime are 40% more likely to get osteoporosis than non-smokers. There's been studies that have shown an increase in back injury, back pain among smokers compared to non-smokers. And injuries that happen in the workplace tend to be more severe, like sprains and strains and fractures among smokers than non-smokers. So what does all this mean for a business? It means that productivity goes down, absenteeism increases, and costs go up, either direct costs or indirect costs, like insurance premiums that go up from increased accidents that can partially be avoided through reduced smoking among the workforce. So many businesses already recognize this, and they have wellness programs in place that focus on smoking cessation in order to help get rid of this problem. The problem is most smoking cessation programs focus on the patch, Nicorette gum, banning smoking from the work site, and counseling, none of which have shown to be particularly effective. So what does occupational health and safety professional do? Well, hopefully they can find alternatives to help people quit smoking. And something I personally have found to help me quit smoking is the e-cigarette, which is what I have here. E-cigarettes come in a variety of forms: the e-cigs, the vape pens, vape mods, like a vape mod like this, but they all work the same way. So you have a battery in one end, and you have a cartridge or a tank on the other end, which contains a filament, which when you put the liquid, which may or may not contain nicotine, in the cartridge, and you turn the machine on, it vaporizes the liquid, which you can breathe in like a cigarette. What's important to realize is that it does vaporize the liquid and it doesn't burn the liquid. So are e-cigarettes safe? Well, as I mentioned, the very fact that it vaporizes and does not combust what you're smoking makes a big difference, because you're breathing in vapor and not smoke, which are different. And also, so the ingredients that you find in the e-liquid, they stay intact. They don't change form, and you don't get side chemicals produced like you do with tobacco smoke. So what is in the e-liquid in cigarettes will largely determine safety. So what we have here is a list of the ingredients in e-liquid. First and foremost, you can have nicotine. Now, nicotine is the addictive substance in tobacco smoke. It's the reason why people continue to smoke, and it's what we crave. So it is highly addictive in itself, but it is important to realize that nicotine is not carcinogenic, and it's not considered dangerous in moderate doses. So what else do you find in e-liquids then? Well, you find water flavoring and sweetener, common to coffee shops. I mean, not known to be particularly dangerous. No one's worried about those particular chemicals. The other two components of the e-liquid, which there's some questions around, is polypropylene glycol, known as PEG, and vegetable glycerin. So, start with PEG. PEG is a petroleum product, but it's also used in asthma inhalers, it's used in dog food, baby wipes, cosmetics, and regular human food. And most of us have encountered polypropylene glycol many times in lives without even knowing. So like here's an example where polypropylene glycol is listed as an ingredient in NyQuil, which I know I've personally taken many times. The Health Canada and the Food and Drug Administration both list PEG, polypropylene glycol, as generally regarded as safe. It's known to break down into lactic acid and water in the body, whether inhaled, ingested, however, so it's not of particular concern. Vegetable glycerin is another major ingredient in the e-liquid. Vegetable glycerin is actually a plant extract and is almost entirely used in food. It is used primarily in food as a sweetener and to add texture in certain cases, breaks down into sugar in the body no matter what route is taken in, and it's common in many of people's favorite foods. Like here we have Fiber One bars list vegetable glycerin as an ingredient. So when we look at the ingredients and we realize that in e-liquids we know that they vaporize and don't burn, no ingredient stands out as being dangerous. Vegetable glycerin, as I should say as well, is also regarded as safe by the Food and Drug Administration. Okay. Let's contrast that to tobacco cigarettes. Well, in tobacco cigarettes, we know that there is 600 chemicals in tobacco cigarettes at least before burning. When you combust a cigarette, that number goes up to 4,000. Many of these hundreds, maybe thousands, are potentially hazardous to the human body. The Food and Drug Administration here has listed just a subset of the hazardous chemicals found in tobacco cigarettes. And the list is extensive. This list contains things like arsenic, ammonia, benzene, carbon monoxide, which is a well-known asphyxiant, coumarin, which is a substance banned from our food, formaldehyde, a well-known carcinogen used to preserve dead bodies and things of that nature, mercury, which is known to cause mad hatter disease. It causes neurological effects in the body, plastics like styrene, which is carcinogenic, and even things as odd as uranium. So obviously this plethora of chemicals you get through tobacco smoke is a big concern, and just by intuition might suggest that e-cigarettes are a safer alternative. So e-cigarettes are economical. That's reason 2 why you might want to switch to e-cigarettes, and they're an effective quick tool. A regular smoker is going to smoke probably a pack a day, is going to spend close to $4,000 a year in cigarettes, because cigarettes cost about $11 per pack. The equivalent, based on puffs, not nicotine, in e-cigarettes is going to cost you about $318 per year. The actual 3 mils of e-juice that's equivalent to a pack of cigarettes is only 87 cents as opposed to $11 for the cigarettes. Now when we're looking at e-cigarettes as a quitting tool, we may compare it to a Nicorette program. Well, even in a Nicorette program lasting 12 weeks, assuming no relapse and no continued addiction to the gum, that program is going to cost a business or an individual approximately $316, which is still comparable to the cost it's going to take that an individual have or business for using e-cigarettes, which is approximately $318 per year, plus a little bit of maintenance possibly for whatever device you're using. So this means that e-cigarettes provide a financial incentive both for the individual to switch to the healthier e-cigarette option from the tobacco cigarette, and also there's no deterrent for using e-cigarettes as an occupational health and safety tool because the cost is low and comparable to other quit methods. So, but are they actually effective? Of course, that's the big question. Are e-cigarettes effective? Well, e-cigarettes feel and look like tobacco cigarettes, and that's a huge thing for people trying to quit smoking. Patches and gum, they do provide you with nicotine, but the downside is that it's a very different process than smoking. People still have the habit of smoking and find that they crave that process. So e-cigarettes give you that feeling of smoking, but without many of the nasty side effects of tobacco cigarettes. E-liquids, which is what you use in the e-cigarette again, comes in a variety of nicotine concentrations, so you can start at a high level of nicotine and wean yourself down. And if you enjoy using the e-cigarette, you can even smoke it, vaporize it really, without the use of nicotine at all. So it is a very effective quit tool. You have flavorings in the e-liquid, and many people find that although you can get tobacco flavored e-liquids that make you feel like you're smoking, you can get many other flavors, which many people ultimately prefer and find it eventually that it gives it a deterrent to ever going back to tobacco cigarettes, because now they enjoy the many variety of flavors that you can get with e-liquids that you can't in tobacco cigarettes. And the last factor is that e-cigarettes help get rid of the symptoms of smoking immediately, giving you positive reinforcement, quit smoking, things like improved taste and smell, better cardiovascular conditioning, things of that nature. So e-cigarettes do seem to be effective, although there's still room for future study. So conclusions. We know that e-cigarettes are safe, or at least safer than tobacco cigarettes. We know that e-cigarettes are cheap, or at least cheaper than tobacco cigarettes. We also know that they're effective quit aids, partially from personal experience, or at least as effective as the patch and Nicorette gum. So businesses have a financial incentive to encourage their personnel to quit smoking, or at the very least quit smoking tobacco cigarettes. Thank you.